I gotta say, Sammy,
Yes.
listen, I only get to see a clean-shaven Sammy a couple of times a year. Look at
Yeah,
you over there. Look, the chin strap always fits a little better when you're
it does.
clean-shaven. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
it
it
doesn't
is.
itch and it's easier to connect. And, Christmas, playoffs, Easter, a couple times a year is about all,
All the important things. It's a Cat Country
That's right.
96 Birds
That's
recap.
right.
It's brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Philadelphia Eagles, and by our friends at Banko Beverage Company. Merry Christmas. Still shouting it out to
Yeah.
everybody out there. Happy holidays, all that good stuff. Sammy, we won't be talking for a little while. So we're going to
Yeah.
talk today, you and I, birds, Bills. I put in our little caption preview here, Super Bowl preview, because that would be pretty nice to get back there and
Sure.
have another shot to win a trophy. But just some of your thoughts going into this game
Yeah.
against Buffalo this weekend, because it's a weird game.
Yeah.
There's kind of implicate now that Detroit lost, so like there's kind of things are kind of settled in the playoff picture. So how do you
Yeah.
feel about playing guys versus rest versus whatever you think
Well,
they should do this weekend?
my question is there a possibility to move up to number 2? If the answer is yes, then I say, you know what, play him until you can't. Play him until, you get word that the final score is so and so and so and so, and you are stuck at number 3. Then maybe you yank him a little bit early and play him a little bit next week. Not much, because you want to treat next week as much as a bye as you possibly can.
So I'll agree with you in this that if the problem is Chicago doesn't play San Francisco till at night.
Got
Now,
it.
San Francisco is also playing for a 1 seed. They're still
Yeah.
alive for the West and the 1 seed. So you have that advantage going for you.
Mhm.
The thing is like, so you pretty much know the Packers are going to be the 7
Yeah.
seed.
Right, they're set.
So if you're trying to avoid the NFC West in the
Mhm.
playoffs and you don't want to see the Rams or the Niners or the Seahawks as
Yeah.
potentially one of those first wildcard weekend games, it kind of makes sense to play Buffalo in this game. Now, Chicago beats San Francisco. It's kind of all for naught. Chicago will have locked it up at that point. But then
Yeah.
Chicago has to play Detroit the last game of the season. And I know they put up a clunker last night, but you could
Mhm.
especially in those divisional games at the end of the year. The reason why I like them is because even the teams that aren't in the playoffs are probably like, our Christmas and New Year is made by knocking you out or knocking you
Right,
down or not giving you what you're going for. So
right.
it's kind of a fascinating scenario. I'll say this, as far as it comes to the rest versus rust versus all that stuff, I still would like to see Lane and Jalen Carter sit. You've at
Yeah,
least got it locked. Like you're in, you're most likely a 3 seed. It would take some really crazy scenarios to actually slip to 4.
sure.
Um, but if you beat Buffalo without those two guys, great. All the power to you. And then if you get into the last week of the season and you say, we're already in the 3, we've locked it up. Let's get that quote unquote bye week before wild card weekend. You can do it.
Yeah, this is a game I think the Eagles are given their best challenge in the past couple weeks, opponent-wise. So I think it is important if they are going to play their guys. I like the whole maybe give a couple of those guys a couple extra days rest. I do get that. But this is going to be, the Eagles got to clean some things up. I look at this game as well. Look at this as an AFC game. What are the odds? Like you said, of slipping to fourth? It could happen, but I don't think it will. This is a game, maybe, 4th and 1 at the 31-yard line of Buffalo. Maybe you bring Elliott out and maybe you kick a little bit. Maybe you get him right. Maybe you work that out. Instead of going for a tush push where you really don't need it this week, get Elliott out there. Try to take a 3. Same thing if you're at the 38, 39-yard line. Get Jake Elliott, make him right. See, I hate that term, make right game, but because the Eagles are on a 2-game winning streak, which is like, but there's still a couple things they have to fix, and still a couple things. Penalties have gotten better, things like this. But I think you look at this as get that offensive running game moving in conditions. I heard it's supposed to snow in Buffalo for
Supposed
every
to
week
snow
after
here. It's
the
supposed to
week.
snow
Yeah,
everywhere. Yeah.
yeah, right, right. So get that running game going. Maybe this is a game where we're not going to pass as much, and we're going to find some things out with Barkley and Bigsby and Shipley and that offensive line, and you get that rolling. But I do think this is a big game. Let's not just say Jake, but special teams. Let's get them right as well. They've had a couple weeks where they weren't playing, my opinion, to their potential. The run game, the punt game, the kickoff game, things like this. And look at little things like this, and let's make these right going into Buffalo. If you come out with a win, extra special, obviously. But if you come out there and it's a tough loss in Buffalo with the conditions, but Elliott goes 4 for 4 with his long being a 57-yard or something like this, you know that things are moving on the right path. My opinion, anyway.
Yeah, the fascinating element to this, because I was already teetering back and forth on what to kind of do. First of all, I don't think they're showing any cards against Buffalo. I
No,
think you're
they're
going to
not.
get that vanilla offense that you saw
That
in the
we've seen
beginning
all
of the
year.
season. I think you're going to get a lot of that on Sunday. I don't
Yeah.
think they've got any cards that they need to show at this point. The really interesting element in all this, and I was teetering back and forth on like how much do they play, how much because
Mhm.
you're is Green Bay is now locked into that last spot. So even if hypothetically you do jump
Yeah.
to a 2 seed, most likely Green Bay's not going to play anybody next week. So they're going to have their own kind of quote unquote bye week to get ready for Philadelphia or
Yeah.
whoever Tampa Bay, Carolina, whoever else
Mhm.
they might be going to see, the other winner of the West. So or the North. So I there's just an element of this to me that says play Buffalo, play it like a preseason game, not play it like a preseason game in terms of your start, but play it in terms of your game plan.
Yeah.
Don't show anything in particular. And I'm with you. If you win, great. If
Yeah.
you don't, fine.
Mhm.
Because you've already kind of got yourself settled into where you are. And that puts you in the last game against Washington, who put up a nice fight yesterday against Dallas. But like, I'm not overwhelmed. Like, could Tanner McKee go play a home
Sure.
game in Philly with the backups and beat Washington, Josh Johnson and
Yeah.
Washington at home? Like, so I just, I'd be really interested to know what their plan is.
Yeah.
If they talked about, hey, first half, we're going to try to go get it. We're going to do
Mhm.
everything that we're going to play the first half of this game like it's any game that we're preparing for. And in the second half, we're going to be ready to take our foot off the gas. We're going to start rotating guys
Sure.
out. We're going to be playing a very vanilla set. It's just a fascinating set of circumstances because
It is.
so much is already determined in both conferences
Mhm.
already at this point with still 2 weeks to go. It's just kind of fascinating to see what they're going to do. It's the Cat Country 96 Birds recap. It's brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Philadelphia Eagles, and by Banko Beverage Company. Jerry Patton and I are going to be out at Molly's, I believe, on Tuesday to do the show live after the Bills game. So I want to give them a shout out with Banko.
Mhm.
We'll be out on Tuesday at noon if you want to come on out and say hello. Defensively, do you feel like you're going to get the same approach, Sammy? Kind of. I know it's Vic, so Vic probably is
Yeah.
like, no, let's go get it. But I'm
Yeah.
curious what you think of the defense going into this game.
I think we're going to see a defense that's not going to take their foot off the pedal at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, but after the Super Bowl, Fangio was not happy with his second team giving up a touchdown or two, whatever he gave up, and
Yeah,
he made him pay for it in training camp. The guys that were
yeah,
still there, so I don't see him doing anything where it's like, all right, Ringo, you're going in. I don't see that happening. Maybe till the fourth quarter, regardless of the, but I think they're going to give it all they got. Three and a half quarters of the game, and then just see where everything lies. I think it's. I don't, defensively, I think you're going to see your starters in there for a long time. Not going to mess too much up, but uh, quickly jumping back to the offense, I don't think we're going to see much of Saquon. That's just my opinion. I think he hit his 1,000 yards. He has nothing to rush for. There's no title in sight. Not that I mean, if you're going to rest the guy last year, the final game of the year, I think you're going to do it this year as well. The
yeah.
final game, maybe game and a half, something like that. But going back, I just had to jump that in. But go back defensively, I think they're going to play. I think they still need to work on getting. I know they had a couple great games with some sacks at the quarterback and some pressure, but they still need to keep building on getting more pressure to the quarterback. And I think Josh Allen is a really good challenge for them to do that. But I don't think Nakobe Dean is playing this week. The last I saw, he was not.
He
Um,
was limited with the hamstring,
yeah,
obviously. So I would imagine just out of precautionary reasons, let
don't
Jahad
play him.
Campbell get his snaps,
Yeah,
let the
right.
kid learn a little bit,
Yep,
and all
don't
right,
play him.
so I want to present 2 scenarios to you, Sammy,
Yeah.
both sides of the coin here,
Hmm.
and I'm curious if they affect how you would watch the game at this point.
Okay.
Bills are up 14-0 at the end
Okay.
of the first quarter.
All right.
What would you like to see from there? 14-0 Bills. James Cook's running the football all over the place. Messy conditions. Are you
Yeah.
saying, all right, let's, or are you
Well,
saying, I want to go try to win the game? I'm curious your thought process and what you think their thought process is there.
my whole if we're down 14-0 first quarter, end of the first quarter, yeah, you want to get back in this game. You don't want a game to slip. I mean, yeah, because if you're down 14-0, you're telling me the offense isn't really connecting on much. So we got to see them start to connect again. And if that means getting out of the run the football, maybe you do try to make it a game again. Because, I can say one thing now, but once that game starts and you're down 14-0, I'm not going to be a very happy man. You know what I mean? So, get back in it. It's still a football game because, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's when you really have to worry about some injuries as well. You
So
know,
that's kind of
yeah,
why I say this is a
yeah,
two-sided coin, because if the Eagles are up 14-0 at the end
yeah.
of the first quarter, does that change your approach in anything?
Man, it's such an
Because, like, I think back
I
to
don't know.
Jalen in
Yeah.
Chicago a couple seasons
Oh, yeah,
ago.
yeah,
He
yeah,
gets
yeah.
hurt in Chicago. Like, now they had stuff to play for at that point when they were
Right.
playing against Chicago, but the thought process even then was like, it's a bad Chicago team. Do you
Yeah.
really? Um, so
That's
it's
such a
just
tough.
fast, and especially again, if the elements are a
Yeah.
part of this, elements are always going to benefit the offense because they know where they're going. They
Mhm.
know
Right,
exactly
right.
where things are going, and the defense has to react to that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
It's such a tough.
I don't wanna be, I was the one who came out of the Chargers game after all those turnovers optimistic about where
Mhm,
the
mhm.
offense was going,
You
and
were, yeah.
I hate to be negative Nelly right now, but to play a game that I feel like really doesn't it
See,
means something, but it doesn't mean a
yeah,
whole lot. It wouldn't take much for me to say, "Get everybody off the field."
but
Up 14, down 14, bad elements, whatever it
yeah,
was, for me to just be like, "Let the backups go. We're not even we got bigger fish to fry
okay.
here."
What would you do next week? Because you don't wanna give these guys off close to 2 full games going into the playoffs or
So, depending on how this week went, I would say
yeah,
we play the first quarter against Washington.
okay,
Just get acclimated, play the first quarter. If the offense goes out and gets to a preseason game, basically the last week of the
okay.
season. Depending on how this game goes, if the starters play the whole way through,
Mhm.
win or loss, whatever happens, fine. Then Washington, you go in, you say Tanner McKee's our guy. We're going out
Yeah, yeah,
backups. Let's get everybody a rest before the wild card weekend. But if you go into this game and it goes either way in your direction early, I'm not
yeah,
afraid of being up 14-0 after one or 17-3 at halftime and
yeah.
saying
That's it.
it's a messy day in Buffalo. Get
Mhm.
everybody out. If we hold on, great. If we don't, it is what it is. But you know,
Yeah. I'm it's a tough I know exactly and this is a situation where and the odds of this happening, and I'll go back to Jake Elliott in the kicking game. If you're at the end of regulation or you're at the end of overtime and it comes down to giving Jake a chance to kick a 53-yarder or to win it, I'd go for the kick to see how it does. Because you're right. This is how long have we? I mean, if they win, that's awesome. If the Eagles lose Sunday, oh man, that stinks. But what are you going to do?
and hindsight will be 2020 if the 49ers beat the Bears and all of a sudden you're like,
Correct.
well, we took our foot off the gas against
Yeah.
it just feels like to me, I don't fear San Francisco or Seattle or LA coming here.
Correct.
I think it's a little bit more of a toss-up game going there for any of
Yeah.
those games. So
Yep.
on wild card weekend, if what you're saying is one of those teams is coming here anyway,
Hmm.
I'd rather just be healthy and ready. The thing
Yeah.
the Eagles, Micah Parsons, go around the league right now,
It's
guys who are
true.
getting hurt. Like there's guys who are big, big, big parts of what their
Right.
teams do, and teams that are banged up at key positions.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
feel like you're finally getting healthy at the right time. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do in
That's
this
a
game.
really
What's your score,
good
Sammy? What are you
question.
thinking?
Man, I don't even. It's such a. Uh, I don't with the elements. I'm going to go with the. It's probably going to be snowing during at kickoff in
I
Buffalo.
would
So
think so. Yeah.
with the Eagles are going to run a lot. They're not going to put up more than 17 tomorrow or Sunday. And man, I just think I think Buffalo at home. I think Buffalo could win this one at home. Like a 23-17 game where the Eagles are going to walk off the field. Hey, good game, no problem, no big deal. That's what I think is probably going to happen.
Snow benefits the offense, Sammy.
Yeah.
I got points. I got points
Do
in
you
this one.
really? Oof.
And I think Nick Sirianni is the we're going to play our guys till the last whistle guy. Even after all this
Okay.
conversation we've had, I
Yeah.
think he's going to let his guys go. I think this is more of an offensive game. I think we're going to see a lot of rushing yards because of the slipping and sliding. It benefits the offense. I am going to go. Man, it's so hard to feel
It
like
is.
I want to go against Jake because if it's a field goal game, I
Yeah.
want to bet on Jake. And right now, you can't bet on Jake, it feels like.
You
So
cannot.
I will take the Bills 30-27 in
Much
this
high
game.
score. Okay.
Yes. So we'll see what happens. A
Yeah.
lot of things still to be determined. The one thing we know is they're hosting a playoff game at some point,
Right.
wild card weekend. We'll see who it's against. It's Cat Country 96 Birds Recap, brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Philadelphia Eagles, for Sam Malone. I'll catch
Mm.
up with you on the flip side, honey. Sending a lot, buddy, honey.
Buddy.
It's
Oh,
like I'm talking to my wife. Sending lots
yeah.
of love to you and your honey. I
Thank
know
you.
you got a lot going on this year, so happy holidays, happy New Year to you and your squad. And
You
go
too.
go Birds, buddy.
You too. And when you and Jerry are out, I believe on Tuesday, I
Yes.
believe we are getting a new edition that day. Is what it looks like. So that's
Okay.
what it's looking
All
like right now.
right. A
So there you
third
go.
story on the house. You heard it here first. It's a
That's
Cat
right.
196 Birds recap brought to you by Miller Lite and Banko. Appreciate you, Sammy. Take it easy,
All right,
buddy.
guys. You too. Happy New Year. Go Birds.
Go Birds.